Sonic Prime is a new Netflix animated series based on the popular video game series. Let's see if it's worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services like Netflix. If you guys are like me, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more up and coming content. The action-packed adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog go into overdrive when a run-in with Dr. Eggman results in a literal universe-shattering event. Desperate to piece his prime reality back together and save his old friends, Sonic races through the Shatterverse, discovering strange worlds and enlisting new friends and the epic adventure of a lifetime. So it's been a pretty good year for Sonic. We had Sonic the Hedgehog 2 released in theaters earlier this year with Knuckles. Sonic Frontier, the video game, was just released, and this latest animated series as well. In this series, he has a run-in with Dr. Eggman, and there's a clash between the two, and he shatters the paradox prism, and he races through new worlds in the Shatterverse. And he seeks out familiar faces of Tails, Rogue, Amy, and Knuckles to help guide him back to Green Hill. We have different versions of these characters. Futuristic robotic versions of them, pirate versions of them, ones in forest. There's a few different versions here and there throughout these 8 episodes that they do cover. What I like about Sonic Prime, and it was a very easy series to get through, is that it shows how important the friendship between Knuckles and Rose and Tails and Sonic is, as he's trying to get home and go through all these different versions within this film, the Shatterverse, and him encountering all the different versions of his friends. So you see how important that relationship is and how easy he can get along with these different versions of his friends. And having him venture into the Shatterverse, we see how good of a leader Sonic is and how he can work alongside these different versions of his friends and lead these characters to find the paradox prism so he can get home. In the first universe that he encounters, we come across several versions of Dr. Eggman. We have a baby version, a teenage version, just a few other versions here and there, and they are after the paradox prism as well. If the paradox prism gets into their hands, you know, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. The presence of Dr. Robotnik wasn't as intimidating as other versions I have seen before in other animated shows or even Jim Carrey in the movie. There's so many different versions of him that it starts to become a little gimmicky at times. And I know Dr. Robotnik is not like the most serious villain of all time in video games, but the way that they handled this character in several different versions, it almost became like a joke. Wasn't as intimidating as I thought it would be, especially since you had different versions of this character. So there's that sense of urgency coming after that first episode. That first episode laid the foundation of the animation, the characters, and then going off into the Shatterverse. That second episode is where it really starts to pick up and then starts to introduce the Shatterverse and that urgency as well. And the pacing for these episodes, about 25 minutes long, is pretty quick. You get all these characters, all these different versions, really cool animation, fast-paced action sequences to really fill in the runtime of these episodes. But as the series moves along, it's becoming more apparent that Sonic's adventure trying to get home to Green Zone is not going to be easy. The fate of the Shatterverse rests in Sonic's hands in the race to save his friends that he took for granted. There's a lot of flashbacks to Sonic and his friends just doing fun things, eating food, having celebrations, whatever it is. And that's showing how good of that friend group is and how he took those moments for granted. So throughout these episodes, yes, he has to get the paradox prism and bounce back and forth between the Shatterverses, but there's also that reflection piece to it as he is remembering certain moments with Amy and Rogue and Tails and Knuckles and how he enjoyed his friendship with them. And the new versions are nothing like them, but he knows their personality very well, that it's almost similar to how they act. Tails with his inventions, and he's trying to get the other versions of Tails to kind of live up to that, and as they are going through the Shatterverse. So the friendship that they have is solid, especially that first episode. It's 40 minutes long for that first episode, and then everything else is about 25 minutes long. But there's enough flashbacks to add to that development and him missing his friends and that reflection part to it. And Sonic's a likable character, so it's easy to get on board with the story and the urgency surrounding it all. The animation's pretty good as well. It feels like classic Sonic. The designs look great, exploring the Shatterverse and the different worlds that they come across, and they provide a lot of action scenes in there. I wasn't super impressed with the end of the series with 8 episodes. That last episode honestly felt like it wasn't the end. There was a cliffhanger leading into possibly a second season if this does well, but it felt like there was still more episodes coming, and it didn't feel like it was starting to wrap up the season. But it does have that cliffhanger, but I felt like there should have been more of a conclusion or starting to slow down the season, not just abruptly end it with a cliffhanger and then going into season 2, because that may not happen, and we are left with the end of season 1. It ended abruptly. I like the cliffhanger and seeing where they're going to go with that, but it didn't feel like it was a strong conclusion. It didn't feel like a strong conclusion. I thought that there would be episode 9 and 10 coming after that, and how that last episode was working. So I wasn't impressed with the ending. I think they could have did a little bit more to kind of tell us it was the end of the season. There was that cliffhanger, but like it was continuing up until like that last minute of the episode. Overall, Sonic Prime was a lot of fun. Sonic's a fun character. You get a lot of different versions of his friends in here. Popular Sonic video game characters, Knuckles and Tails and Rogue and Amy, they're all in here. You get different versions of them. It's a lot of fun. And you have that classic video game style in here with the rings and all of that. Sonic running fast. Everything I love about Sonic is in here, and it's enjoyable. So before I give you my score for Sonic Prime on Netflix, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button and get it all in one spot. I'm going to go ahead and give Sonic Prime a B-. Thank you guys for watching my review for Sonic Prime on Netflix. If you guys seen it by chance, what'd you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watch Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.